explosive, it's dangerous, it's scary, it's a liability. So you can tell right off the bat in this video, Dante comes after me immediately, which tells me he's been getting away with this for far too long and nobody's been able to either stop him or even tell him to stop. Why don't you just tell me a little bit about what's going on?
So obviously he's very reactive in general to everything, people, dogs, cars. We've had him since he was a puppy. When he was about 5 months old, he did have a bite. We looked for another trainer. We had him involved in training up home and leave it. That was going okay, but then COVID happened.
Okay.
And so we kind of stopped. We had planned on starting it back up when COVID got better. And then we were expecting a baby, so everything kind of got pushed aside for that.
Sure.
She's 5 months old now, and now we're ready to get going again. And obviously we just want him to be less anxious and, you know, hopefully be able to take him places and have him live a dog life instead of just being at home all the time.
All right, what I want you to do is I want you to just bring him in and walk him around.
Sure.
Just don't let him get near the crates.
Sure. Leave it.
Right now what he's doing is he's basically saying, you get out of here, you get out of here, you get out of here, you get out of here. He's telling everybody that they need to leave. So it's a very defensive, very protective, also very insecure. You would think a dog like this would be more confident, but he's not. Now think about this for a second, guys. They bring their dog into a place in front of a person they've never met before, and this dog immediately charges over the gate and tries to bite me and cause harm to me and every other human around in the room. So not only is it stressful for us, the owners, but it's insanely, overwhelmingly stressful for the dog to think that he has to do this as well. So the amount of stress that's coursing through this dog's body right now is off the charts to begin with. The first thing we have to do is we have to shut down this behavior. He has to know and understand that this behavior is not appropriate and we never want to see it again. So we're simply going to put on the Hermspringer prong collar and we're going to correct this behavior for the first time, and we're going to see how it works out for Dante here. So I've worked with hundreds of these dogs exhibiting the same exact behavior that Dante is. And I can tell you historically, these dogs are a lot of bark and not a lot of bite. They actually don't want to do the things that they're doing. They just don't know what else to do. What we need to do is we need to add some punishment or positive punishment to the equation. So a lot of people, when we talk about positive or negative in dog training, it's rainbows and butterflies for positive, and it's negative means it's bad for the dog. It's a math equation, actually. Positive means you're adding something to the equation. Positive reinforcement would be adding food when the dog sits. Positive punishment would be adding a correction or punishment to the equation when the dog does a behavior we don't like. When he reacts negatively, we're going to discourage that behavior with punishment. When he does good, we're going to encourage that behavior with a reward. This isn't something that we can spend a ton of time on as far as the reactivity that you're dealing with here, because it's explosive, it's dangerous, it's scary, it's a liability. So we're not going to say, how can we make this a positive experience for him?
We want to do it quickly.
Yeah, we want to say, hey, first of all, let's stop trying to kill me. Step one. Second of all, then we leave it. Leave it. So that correction that you guys just saw is something I'll probably remember for the rest of my life. I popped the collar right to the side, just a quick snap right on the dog's prong collar, and he looked at me and so many things went through his head. And I'll never forget that. That was one of the first times a dog really looked at me and said, holy crap. That was really cool to see. In his mind, he comes in, bar, rah, 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 like that. If we don't do anything about it and we just kind of hold on to him, we're basically telling him like, yeah, that's cool. This is what we want you to do. By correcting him, I'm taking that off the table to say, you don't have to do this anymore. So I'm watching his breathing. I'm listening to his breathing. All of these movements that I'm doing would have immediately set him off 5 minutes ago. He did it every time. Every time I moved, he would come after me. So it's already good progression. Is it because I've been with him for a little bit? I don't know. Is it because I corrected him? Probably, maybe. So now what I want you to do is come in without him. Stress is a part of this. So yeah, his tail's gonna be tucked, he's gonna be panting, he's gonna be whale eyeing me, but if we can progress from, I have to kill you every time that you move to this, I'm okay, because then good boy, Dante, very good boy.
I'm just amazed at how quickly it works.
So now that we've found something that actually stops this behavior, now we can move forward and we can progress and we can start a new chapter in Dante's life. This is just a barrier. It's like a little shield I use. It's kind of a hybrid between letting him in completely with me and also having the gate up. So all I'm doing is I'm just using this because I don't care who you are. If a dog this size tries to come up and take a piece out of your stomach, you need to be able to defend yourself. And because he's explosive and he's fast and he's powerful, I'm just using the, I guess I don't have to explain why I'm protecting myself, do I? But I'm just letting you know why I'm using this. That's why.
Appreciate you protecting yourself.
Sure. Dante, good boy, yes. Positive reinforcement, because he's seeing, hearing, watching, smelling Hawk move around, and he's sniffing instead of reacting. So good boy verbally for me. Positive reinforcement. Well done, big guy. Good, and you can tell by his eyes now, his eyes have changed. He's not so malicious. He's not so angry. He's more curious, which is nice. And the fact that this dog is moving around as much as he is and he's not reacting, as well as the daycare dog sounding off, is really great.
The way he is, he seems very defiant sometimes. Like, I ask him if he could please move or off, can you get off the bed? So that way, I can basically finish up what I'm doing and then I can head out the door. And I ask him off and he just sits there.
In regards to asking him to do something and him being stubborn or defiant, or however you want to define that behavior, you have to look at your overall relationship with him. It's a template. And I like to equate it to human behavior because it makes the most sense to you, and it's the same transfer. If you're a manager, if you're a boss, if you're a business owner, if you're a parent, you say, hey, I want you to go clean up the mess you made. And they go, I don't really want to. For him, it would be sit. Hey, I want you to sit on command. Right? And he's like, I don't really want to. And you either don't do anything about it, or you ask him to sit 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more times. And then you're just like, oh, and you walk away. If you do that once or twice in his life, he's immediately gonna have your number. Therefore, my point is you ask him, hey, I want you to do this at a very micro level, which is just SIT on the leash. And he's like, I'm not doing that. You then just set yourself up for everything else in the future. Hey, I want you to get off the couch. I don't listen to you, remember? So it's not so much my dog won't get off the bed when I ask. It's how many other things do you ask your dog to do and you don't A, reinforce it, and B, hold him accountable when he decides to say F you. He's laying down now, which is fantastic. Yeah, it's very good. Did you guys see that? Dante, for the first time, laid down in front of somebody with somebody that he's never met before. He's calmer than he was. So he came in with all of this stress, barking, reacting, trying to hurt other people, and we corrected that behavior, turned a new leaf, worked with him, built some trust, built a little relationship, and within 10, 15 minutes, he calms down, he relaxes, he takes a breath, he's not needing to go after people. What a beautiful sight to see. Big change. Let's see what he does here with Brittany. So if he barks, I'm just gonna correct him with the prong, that's all. Good job, Dante. Positive reinforcement. Good job, good decision. So there, guys, is what you saw. It's exactly what I was talking about, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Is instead of going, I must get you out of here and I am tough boy, he said, who are you? Sport mode, 4-wheel drive. So a lot of this could be genetics. A lot of this could be everything that you guys have done. With raising him and treating him and training him or not, the lack thereof. But it doesn't matter what you've done in the past, it matters what we're gonna do right now. You gotta make sure there's a couple different things when you're doing all this stuff, right? I mean, what a big difference. And the big difference is because I did everything right. My timing was right, what I said was right, the prong collar was fit right, and you guys have to mimic that moving forward. Handling is gonna be huge. If he's the type of dog, which we know he is, that's very nervous, insecure, protective, edgy, whatever, you need to be in control with him all the time. And you gotta be able to turn on control, I guess is my biggest thing. When you tell him to heel, when you tell him to sit, when you tell him to leave it, when you tell him to down, when you tell him to place, when you tell him to stay, all of those things he has to do. Do you have a break command with him?
Free, usually.
Sure.
Yeah.
So free is to say, okay, now you can be a dog, but you have to make sure it's on your circumstances. 2 reasons. A, because you don't want him making decisions randomly. If you're sitting right here at a crosswalk and he's in a sit, you didn't break him. He's supposed to stay in that sit because you've worked on it. The other thing is it's going to put you in a position where your relationship may have been causing all this reactivity. Having the distinction and the compartmentalization of breaking and healing, or work and breaking in general, is going to help your relationship develop into a more confident dog. Because right now he's like, I don't know what the hell to do. I come in here, I lose my mind at everybody, and these guys just choke me out and pull me back, and he doesn't know what to do. When you're healing with him, and really with anything, you got to make sure you free him after. Free. And then let him be a dog. I wouldn't let him jump, bark, growl, lunge, etc. Even if you're at recess, go have fun. Somebody throws a brick at a kid, they're still in trouble, right? Because that's unacceptable, no matter what you do. So I work with dog owners all over the world. Some of you may or may not know that, that's why I say this. And I do that every single day, whether it's online or here at the facility. And one thing that I have found with dog reactivity and people struggling with modifying and changing behavior is the simple fact that there is hope. You can get better. So just make sure that if you guys are struggling with this at home, you gotta really audit how long you've been doing something with the tools that you're using and the techniques that you're using. And if it's not yielding results and it's not doing any progress, you need to really make sure that you're changing your gears and changing your game plan. The prong collar evenly distributes pressure all the way around the dog's neck. And when they react, it gives them an uncomfortable sensation, right? It corrects them, it punishes them. That's what you're doing is inappropriate. Again, we talked about stress. Yes, it's stressful, but you gotta outweigh the balance here. If we look back at the footage, I maybe corrected him 5 times, maybe. And it's 2 seconds, bang, done, over. Versus him losing his mind, barking, being anxious, being stressed, having all this anxiety about who he needs to go after next every time he's out in public. There's not a question about A, the difference it makes when you do correct a dog, and some of the after facts of having stress within the first second of a millisecond versus him being stressed all the time. So you don't, it's uncomparable as long as you're, thinking clearly. The important thing is when you're doing it, it's a pop. Everyone thinks these are sharp, they're digging into the skin, the dog pulls, it hurts. You guys know that. Nope. I wouldn't be in business and be where I'm at in my career if I was doing that to dogs. That's crazy. What it does is it corrects the dog and it distributes that pressure really quickly, really swiftly, bang. When I corrected him right there, it's exactly what you saw. He came after Abby and I said, what the hell are you? Leave it, bang. You don't get to go and bite people. You're literally gonna kill yourself. Like, people are gonna take you away and euthanize you if you bite people. Not good. It's my responsibility and my job to shut that down. When I corrected him there, it just went bang on the side. He looked at me and so many things happened, right? Light bulbs, what the hell, everything happened there. But that correction changed things. And now we can have a conversation, we can talk, he's not stressed, he's laying down. We're Gucci, we're good. How do you feel?
Good. It's a relief to be able to stand here and have a conversation and have him do that. That hasn't happened since he was a puppy. We had really just kind of given up. And actually watching your YouTube videos, I was like, this can't be real. Like, dogs more reactive than he ever thought of being, just completely changing. I'm like, I gotta go.
Now you know that it's real.
Yes.
Brittany's gonna come in, so if he reacts, make sure you correct him. But just ignore everything else, release your pressure. Good, nice and relaxed.
Leave it.
Good, now correct, yep, good. Good,
Sit.
leave it. Pressure up. Don't let him get away with that sit.
Sit.
There you go. Now release. One more time. He's
Sit.
taking advantage of you. There you go. Good sit. Good sit. So if he reacts again, you're gonna correct him. Good. Nice and relaxed on that leash. Don't give him any pressure. I know it's hard. Good. Good. Sit. We're paying for that. Say something.
Good boy. Good.
Good.
Yes.
So that's exactly what we're talking about. Somebody else is coming in too, so why don't you just come over here? Heel.
Come, heel.
Good. Pressure up
Dante,
again.
sit.
Hold, release. Good sit.
Good sit.
Yep. Make sure your timing's there. Make sure you tell him good sit. So a person he hasn't seen comes in. You say, hey, let's go over here in a heel. S-I-T. He sits. Good sit. Person walks by. Pay him. Good sit.
Good sit.
Free.
Free.
Good. Now, truthfully, and I want you to be honest, because this helps me. Without that correction, do you think that he would have just listened?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
I'm really happy with Dante's progression. I know the owners are thrilled. What a difference in a 1-hour session here at the Upstate Canine Academy. You guys were putting this information out there for completely free for you guys to hopefully gain some knowledge and move forward in your relationship with your dog. Do me a solid favor, like, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment below and let me know where you guys are from.